The first one, guys, is pretty obvious, your health status. Obviously, you guys have seen it, the healthier you are, the less you're going to pay for health care.
Yeah, the healthier you are, the less you're going to pay because you have things like deductibles and you have co-pays, and the more you visit the doctor or the hospital, the more you're going to have to contribute to those bills. But also medications. And AnnaMarie, this is something that you talk with our families about all the time, even once they elect Medicare, is what type of medications are you taking? Because that's going to, it could potentially increase your premiums, determine the type of plan that you have, and then out of pocket for those medications also.
Oh, absolutely. When it comes to medications, that's typically the driver in Medicare of which option, which plan you're going to go with, because each plan covers different medications. They have different formulary setups. So you're right, different premiums, escalated costs, different tiers on a drug card. It all gets pretty convoluted, and so that's where we come in and we can help streamline that information. But then also, as we're talking about health status in regards to what you're going to pay, a question I still get these days is about pre-existing conditions. And just to make it clear for everybody, that is no longer the case before you're Medicare eligible. They cannot ask Medicare or health-related questions if you've had any pre-existing conditions.
Go ahead.
But when it comes to Medicare, that can come into play, but just if you are retiring earlier before the age of 65, pre-existing conditions is no longer an issue.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, which can lead to confusion because once you get to Medicare age, now pre-existing conditions could impact either what you switch to from a coverage standpoint after a few years being on Medicare or what you actually elect at 65 when you go on Medicare.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So yeah, I get this question all the time. So that's good to just get it out there. No pre-existing conditions before the age of 65.
Yeah, that's
But
great.
the costs, like what Loren said, is there are high deductibles, there's out-of-pocket maximums. So if you do have a condition, there's a lot of options on the marketplace on healthcare.gov that can guide you to help lessen that cost if you're finding lower out-of-pocket maxes. If you're on a high deductible health plan, which is HSA qualified, where you can make contributions, that can also help lower the costs. So there's a lot of strategy that can come into play with helping in that area.
Yeah, and that kind of leads to the next factor. So factor number one was your health status. Factor number two is your age. COBRA is, let's just explain it for people, you go on your employer-sponsored plan if you decide to retire before you're Medicare eligible.
That's right. So COBRA is just a continuation of the employer plan you're already on, but you're taking over the payments that your employer was providing you. And you do have that option for up to 18 months. So what we like to do is we do that cost analysis. Is it more cost effective for you to stay on that employer plan, that COBRA plan, or does it make sense to move you to the marketplace?
And COBRA is something that we don't want to ignore as a part of the overall healthcare plan because it wasn't that long ago people would just not, whenever we said COBRA, they would just ignore it because it was so expensive compared to different alternative options, where now it can be a really good idea from a cost standpoint as well as a coverage standpoint for somebody who is pre-Medicare age. So it is something that we want to look at. If COBRA is a part of your evaluation, it's very simple to see what that cost is going to be. All you have to do is go to your human resources department, ask them what the COBRA cost would be because they have that information, and then you have that cost. You already know what the coverage is because it's the coverage that you're on when you're working for your employer, and then we can use that information to compare it to alternative healthcare options, and then we have all the information at our disposal to help you make the best decisions you can.
Okay, so let's say I'm getting ready to retire before 65 and I have to go to the open market. AnnaMarie, you recently, this is something you did with a couple that just shows you how the open market can just be really kind of crazy to navigate.
That's right. The number one piece of feedback I have when I'm sitting down with someone who their COBRA is expiring, they've been on it for 18 months, or they just want to look at the marketplace. The number one thing I hear is, oh, my neighbor is on this plan and this is how much she's paying, so I really want to get on this plan. So we did this. We sat down and we went to healthcare.gov and we showed them what the marketplace is based off of and how that influences what they're going to pay. So first off, we enter in their zip code, okay? Shout out to all the Iowans out there. Marion County came up as it was their county they were in, because under the zip code there are a number of different counties. It's based off of age, gender, household members, and then what they are claiming for income or can see what their income will be for that calendar year. It's based off of that calendar year income. So then it shows us what type of subsidy, what type of savings we are going to have with that information put in. they're going to have a savings of $896 that they can take off of their premium. So with this information, it was pulling up the bronze plans, the lower metallic tiered plans. They weren't going to have a premium to pay. So then a couple weeks later, I meet with someone else who literally lives across the street. And they're like, okay, they told me about this plan. This is what they're paying, $0. So we put in the information. All we did was switch the county to Mahaska. It's literally across the street from where they live. Different county, same income. Look at the difference in savings.
Wow.
So that's really a piece to take with you when you start to planning. Listen to your neighbors, get good feedback, but don't expect that that is going to be your end-all, be-all. Be prepared to look at what other options you have that can help lower that cost. And don't think we also didn't talk about moving at one point just across the street
just
to have a savings.
Maybe just build a little something. And let's make sure people understood, because the number difference was $896 on the first one, and then it was $1,231, or otherwise known as $1,231. So a significant difference in the monthly savings.
That's right. One family is going to have possibly a $0 income, where the other might have to pay a couple hundred, depending on what plan they want.
Yeah, and it's all based on the county, and this just lends to remind us the importance for customization on the healthcare side of it. Just like the income plan, the tax plan, and Social Security plan, all that needs to be customized. The healthcare plan also has to be customized to your individual circumstance. Thank you for watching this clip of Retiring Today, and don't forget to subscribe. If you have questions about your retirement plan, take advantage of the complimentary 15-minute retirement checkup phone call.